tail tied in its rear. So that might be the male, I thought it was the other way round. Not pursuing them from behind. You see this little vulnerable side. That's a she. Or is it he's being intimidated to leave? There's this tail between his legs. Oh, he's slowly stalking around her. A little bit weird. Anyway, let's piss on off this one and that's what he's saying. Hello, hello. It's Pigsy back. He's back. So yeah, I was just meditating for a bit, and then these cats started hovering on my vehicle. It could be the vehicle's warm as well. The cat there, so. Or either a lyre in command. I always think these cats, some of these creatures have been dropped off as spies. They're able to tune into their brainwaves. Because they're part lyran as well, so they can remotely access these animals. That's why you don't need to come to Earth to check it out. You've got creatures on it that do it for them. So there we go, fascinating stuff. So is anything else I can add to this video? See, I was having a kind of, because sometimes people ask about the Lemurian crown. They say, you know, you haven't used it for a while or something. I do use it off and on, but it's not like it's causing something overtly in my sort of consciousness, but maybe in the subconscious it's influenced things. It's a meditation tool. So I think once I had some sort of third eye activation, it's continued, and I sort of play around with it a little bit. I started playing around a bit more with crystals, and on the side of the Lemurian crown I sometimes get these little downloads of things. So I can't tell you, you know, because I have to be honest, I could turn around and sort of make up a really out there story, you know. I could say that one of them visited me in the night and gave me instructions or something, you know. It's a little like, oh, that's really good, it's really good, I better get a crown, But the crowns are retailing about something like £100 and something. They're like quite a bit. I bought it at the time because I was sort of like caught up in it. I thought, well, why not, give it a go. But you could make your own sort of stuff once you understand. But that's a part of that spiritual connection, because at the end of the day, a being behind something that wants to evolve mankind doesn't care about the money. However, you know, if it's legitimate as I'd like it to be, then that's fine. If anything, it's all just helped in the journey of spiritual development. And often the things that are free out there might be the ones that are actually got quite a lot of value. Like, you know, I go to a meditation class, that's actually a charity, so I don't actually have to pay for anything. I won't be there directly, I'll be doing it remotely. However, things are still developing, even though I'm not there. Some stones resonate better with, I guess everyone's different to a degree. I mean, I've been trying something called, basically, it's the navel bunty. That's correct. I'm wondering why this car's going so slow. He's observing me. For some weird reason. So yeah, it was just an experiment with some crystals and put them in your belly button really, and then sleep with them, you know, overnight and see if there's any changes. I think something like the hematite may be more valid. There's some crystals that, like I say, they're better for the person than others. The other ones I didn't notice anything, you know, out there really. You know, it could have just been like a glass marble or a quartz. Get over your bloody side, you daft buggers. There's a lot of weird drivers. If I started attracting them in after I've done meditating, and attracting people that are a little bit unhinged. Probably. It's like there's a movie called Unhinged, you know. And the old classics like Jewel or something, where somebody loses the plot and then starts stalking the person driver. So yeah, so on that research, I think hematite's quite potential. I do like the tiger eye. That's really nice because I got a load of little stones recently, and there's like a little set like marble. So I was thinking, well, how can you put one in your belly? But because in the past they've just put it in belly, but there's also from the Sumerian type, from that kind of area of knowledge, that there was things that were done in the past, or if you go back to the Book of Enoch and all these things, they talk about angels, but if we say the angels are aliens, and we just change the wording around a bit, and they taught man certain survival techniques. They taught them about makeup, they taught them about jewellery, they taught them about all these little things, crystals and stuff. There may be some other use for them. Why do you wear crystals around your crown? Why was there crystals in your belly? How do these fit in with the chakra system? So I'm just sort of exploring that, trying to make sense of it. And the only way to explore it and do sense of it is to get involved with it. So then you might do things, you might say, well, maybe that was a waste of time, or maybe that was good, you know, if it works out. So the next stage for me, I think the hematite has improved things, and maybe mixing it with crystals may be the answer. But I've also come across something. These bloody nuts down here as well. I come across copper chain. So I know copper and magnetism, you create electricity, and if I get as close as I can to the curve, and if a magnet runs across it, it creates electrical charge. It's the same as if you put electricity through it to create movement with the magnet. So the experiment might be a copper chain, hematite beads all around it, and maybe some kind of gemstone in it, and maybe some others put in different places. I'm often using my arms, so it's a little difficult, but maybe we'll have something on my ankle. So I'm going to look at that, sort of a bit of a jewellery design. I was also thinking about a mask. I've been working on a mask. So we got a mask like this, because this is a disposable one, so I might wear it all day and throw it away afterwards. But I'm going to do is remove. But what I have done is I've removed this part of the material within the inside, the bit where you might breathe and it might get wet in someone. And then I've put like a tartar material. But I could also do some stuff here as well if I wanted to. And there was some other things going in my mind, like well, not exactly like that, but you could have like a chain. Because once you've got a standard template, you just need to get a chain that would go. You could figure out the length of it around here. You'd have to. The problem is you have to calibrate it to each individual because there's different measurements, and so you could have something there, and you can clip it, and you could have. The thing about copper is antiviral, or you could use some other sorts of things. You could have it if there's a copper mesh you can put inside it with the material. Then if you're worried about viruses and things, particularly I'm not, because as long as you're healthy, it's just another virus. To be honest, it's just that some people are very vulnerable, and with all the shielding and 2 metre distance, probably around people that are vulnerable. Once they know they're vulnerable, or they need shielding and things, they're the ones that need it. The general population will be asymptomatic, and it'll go away within about 2 weeks. A major problem with it. They just, if they're generally just to avoid some of the older people, unless you're 100% sure that you're 100% healthy. That's it, really. Anyway, this is something else I wanted to mention. I might do some kind of like paranormal videos, but I might have to I might stay at some like a hotel, stay in a room that's going to have haunting and all these odd things. Just give it a go, give it a whirl, film it, and see what I think about it. Anyways, please sign up for this video and have a great one. Hello, this is Pigsy. Just reversing really slowly. I find that I'm going to stick it with my other video, so you might have already seen a bit or not. I seem to attract cats when I'm meditating, which is interesting. Why? They sense something? So I had a cat, that's why I was being careful when I was reversing there. I checked underneath my car. Yeah, my sister had a horrible experience where she run over her cat, because the cat was very clingy and it would sort of hang around the vehicle. We sat in the vehicle, I think, one day doing something, and then the cat was under the wheel. Or whatever happened, but I must admit it must be really traumatic. people sometimes drive very slowly. And also sometimes women are quite cautious. Well, it's probably right to do that. Show manners when driving. I think for men they might misinterpret it, they're probably not used to it. Or it's a position of social authority. Like, I'm not going to, the nose is sort of like slightly looking up, I'm not going to bother to respond, because I don't have to. It's like, well, it's not really about that. So yeah, so anyway, back to cats, so that's all good. And I noticed another one this morning, so I thought, I could film it, but it's actually already there. And it went underneath my car. I thought, oh, and he just sort of carefully wanders up to the car. Well, she wanders up the car. I haven't figured out the sexes of cats. It could be a he, it could be the females go wow to make that noise because they're warding them off, saying, oh, you, pack it in, whatever. And the male becomes submissive, so they put a tail between their legs. Like, you know, I'm just trying to get to know you. I just wanted your name, that's all. I just thought, you know, we could go out and enjoy the moonlight together or something, whatever cats do for dating. Or we could go on a hunt together. So, and the other thing I was picking up the cat probably also thinks, I come over to my car, it went underneath it, I think, for a little bit, is it may be that I'm resonating a kind of energy field around me, so it's kind of positive. And it's the same way what cats do. Cats resonate when they purr. They're activating some energy point in their body. You know, because what would be the function, apart from warming their body up, they're generating a lot more electromagnetic energy by vibrating their body. So what is the science behind that? Well, I guess with your kittens and so on, they generally do it when they're happy as well. You know, maybe they generate certain energy when they're angry. They've got a few things, energy things, like a lion. They say if a lion roars, it causes, it's not just as loud roar, it's actually got like a psionic attack. That's what it's got in it. It will have the impact of just sort of shocking your system. In the same way, I once had a bat, and it wasn't hurt it. I found it was caught up, but it injured itself. But it let out this high-pitched screech, and it was audible, but it also had the effect of stunning me. And I've it's like, what on earth's happened? It's like, that's bizarre. But that's it. I mean, the same with elephant. I mean, elephants use a different one, acoustic shockwave. If they stamp on the ground, the shockwave go up your legs, and that cause kind of like to completely stun you. So to try to outrun an elephant, that's the issue it generates. The shockwaves around it that, you know, all it's got to do is go bang on the ground, and then you'll go, and then it just charge into you, boom, just butt you, and you're gone. Game over. Yeah, it's fun and games. So it's really interesting. So that came over there with my meditation. It's improving. I was focusing on the stomach because once I've got like this, once I can feel like what I would call chakra sort of activation at a certain level, because I can feel the sensation in my heart and my third eye, or where sort of between the brow, in the chest. That expands around the lungs a bit as well. And then I was working on the stomach. Now the equivalent to feeling on the stomach is like if you did a belly flop in a pool and you got slapped on the stomach and you kind of nerve sting. It has that kind of mild sensation of a kind of stinging sensation, and that's because I guess the nerves are expanding. They're being used and they're properly raising the frequency up, and if they're developing, pain's going to be involved in it at some point, because that's how your body works. You know, you don't develop anything without some kind of trauma. Your body has to undergo change, I guess. So lifting weights, your vascular system could start pumping new blood vessels into the muscle. It makes you vulnerable from different things. Like if you used to bleed, it would make you bleed heavier. Someone's stabbed you in the arm or something. So that's all interesting. And so the energy level, I've brought it down lower. It feels warm now actually, because the colon's a funny shape. You can start to sense the energy following around the colon. So there's the stomach. And the other thing is, can you eat and meditate? I think you can, but you can't overeat. But when you have sensations, hold on to them and understand them. So, you know, if I overate and I had a sort of aching sensation, where exactly is that ache? And tune into it. So you understand it. So when it's gone away, it's sort of you can still connect to them nerves because you're still aware of them. I mean, I've told the story a million times. Is that I originally got into heartfulness yoga because I had just dealing with it wasn't even a proper breakup. I just fell in love with someone and it was the wrong person, and they just didn't want nothing to do with me, and it just tormented me no end. But I started feeling all these pains in my chest that I couldn't really deal with. So I thought meditation might be the key, and meditate on the feelings rather than the thinking, because I just wanted to shut down the thinking. It was just like OCD, but the heart was just also having its own little panic attacks and all sorts of things, because it was a force it could control. Really, it was an addiction. But then I understood certain points relate to certain emotional states in the heart, and they are activated in these sort of like so you got your pressure points, but they're points around the heart, and they might deal with guilt, remorse. You know, like if you feel sorrow, you might feel a sort of sinking sensation, but in a certain point in your body, and that relates to that emotional connection to the body, both neurologically, I guess, and also sort of the physical get out of my mouth, states as well. So it's quite interesting. Anything else? No. So anyway, this is the side of this video. Have a great one, and I will speak to you soon.